Hey, before we start our show, I got some special news. I've started a new podcast that launches on Friday, July 8th. There'll be 3 new episodes, and if you get a chance, be sure to check it out. Everybody's quite excited. It's called Comedy Appetizers. It's a new podcast available on all directories, and if you get a chance, check it out. Each and every Friday, there'll be a new show to start off your weekend with a laugh. And these shows are short and sweet, just jokes, short comedy bits, and stories. So if you get a chance, tell your family and friends, starting Friday, July 8th, a brand new podcast, Comedy Appetizers. And now, here's this week's show.
This is another episode of Stand-Up Comedy, your host and MC, celebrating 40-plus years on the fringe of show business. Stories, interviews, and comedy sets from the famous and not so famous. Here's your host and MC, Scott Edwards.
Hi, and thanks for joining us for this week's show. I'm going way in the past. New Year's Eve show, which was always really special at the club. We used to do 2 New Year's parties each and every New Year's, a show that ended at 9, so we celebrated New York New Year's here in California, and then a show that ended at midnight with the actual California New Year's. It was always a whole lot of fun and kind of a special night for me because it was the only night while emceeing I was allowed myself to drink. Yes, I normally helped polish off some champagne with the audience to celebrate both New Year's parties. And by the end of the night, well, let's just say one of the employees had to make sure I got home safe. Anyway, the shows were always extra special, and this was no different. We have 2 terrific headliners. We used to always make a big deal about New Year's, and our opening headliner was one of the best comedians in the business, a little edgy, a little dirty, but always a whole lot of fun. Lois Bromfield. You heard her interviewed from her new home in Germany earlier this year on the podcast. But back in the early 80s, she was just a really dynamic and funny comedian, and it was always a joy to have her at the club. Also, in closing the show, somebody I know you've heard of, famous Russian comic Yakov Smirnoff. If you're not aware of him as a famous Russian comic who did a lot of work with Ronald Reagan and others, he was also in several movies, Moscow on the Hudson and Brewster's Millions, and he appeared with Tom Hanks in The Money Pit. And he was a television regular on Harry Anderson's TV show Night Court. So these 2 headliners were making New Year's special for me and the audience back in 1983. Now, before we jump into it, I have an extra special treat for you. We used to do a lot of radio promos to get the club going. Keep in mind that back in the 80s, when there was limited ways to have entertainment, radio was still one of the major ways to reach an audience. And we did that to the best of our ability. We appeared on many radio shows and did a lot of radio promotions and advertising. And right now I'm going to share a spot that my partner Bob Stoberner and I did, a radio spot to promote our club, Laughs Unlimited. Now make note, at the end of this, we mentioned how we have a smoking section and a non-smoking section. Yes, back in the 80s, people still smoked in nightclubs. So a lot of differences back then that you'll hear about through this. So stay tuned. Later on, Yakov Smirnoff and Lois Bromfield, but right now, a special short radio promo done by Bob and I for Laughs Unlimited. Here we go.
Woe is me, stuck in an office all day, 4 walls, a lot of paper, no life, no future. I need help.
No, you need a night out at Laughs Unlimited, Sacramento's comedy club, featuring great comics from Hollywood and television.
Are they funny?
Hey, the best in the biz. You'll laugh your head off.
Is that a good thing? I need my head, you know.
Well, of course it is. Laughs Unlimited features 3 great comics Tuesday through Sunday. Comedy that's clever, fun, and even clean.
You mean they're not going to say pinky?
No, probably not. Plus, there's no drink minimum.
Good.
And no smoking nights on Thursdays.
Double good.
So drop in to Laughs Unlimited tonight.
I think I will.
And enjoy the great drink, food, and fun at Laughs Unlimited.
You forgot to tell them about the 2 locations.
Oh, yeah. Laughs Unlimited, Sacramento's comedy clubs at both Citrus Heights and Old Sacramento.
And tell them about the free childcare.
That's right. There's free childcare at Citrus Heights location Tuesday through Saturday.
Gee, that's nice.
Boy, that brings back memories. Bob and I used to do all kinds of TV and radio promotions, and this was one of the earliest. Hey, I just wanted to do a quick intro for Lois Bromfield. Not only a terrific friend of mine, she actually rented one of my houses for a while. I took care of her dogs. We used to have some really fun trips to casinos and just go crazy. But for comedy reasons, she was one of the head writers for the Rosanne show and appeared on that show many times. She also was a writer and appeared on the Drew Carey show, and she was a regular on Arsenio Hall. In fact, she came out as a lesbian on the Arsenio Hall show quite famously in the early 90s. She's currently living in Germany and still a bundle of fun when it comes to stand-up comedy, performing both in Germany and over in England. Okay, let's hear some of her material from back in the early 80s. Ladies and gentlemen, Lois Bromfield.
We're going to bring up our first act tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up to the stage from Southern California, a regular here at Laughs Unlimited, very special treat to have her this evening. She headlines all over the country, a featured act at the Comedy Store in Southern California all the time. Also a regular on the Thick of the Night show. She'll be seen again January 9th with 2 repeat performances on Thick of the Night in February. Ladies and gentlemen, a wonderful round of applause. Our first act tonight, the very beautiful Lois Bromfield. Right here, Lois Bromfield.
Oh, boy, I'll tell you, we are all a bunch of real fucking morons, including me. Yes, sir. Look, I had to wear this in honor of you guys. Isn't it great? So everybody said, where's your hat?
Oh, it's brutal.
Yeah, there's my dad. Hi, Dad. It's great. You know, there's nothing worse. Now, you gals out there, you know, you got those hats on and you look real stupid, and so do I. But I'll tell you, don't get pissed, because you look like a real asshole when you get pissed with that hat on. I mean, you got this hat on, you go, look, I'm breaking up with you tonight. I saw 2 gals talking in the bathroom back there. It was real funny, too, you know, talking with the stupid hats on, going, I don't know, this makeup doesn't go on real well. So, yeah, you'll be getting laid real soon wearing that. So everybody's excited. You should wear your hat. Do you want to wear this? No? Because you want to have a date later. That's good. There's a mature gal. Oh, her drugs just kicked in. Take a Quaalude, dress up a balloon. Jesus. Where's your car parked? On the roof? That's good. No. So, what does this mean exactly? Are you going to put eyes on it later and stuff? No. Are you going to throw up in the parking lot later? What are you drinking? Water. What a fun gal. Oh, great. So you go to the bathroom later and just have a coffee and go to sleep. Somebody left their kinky shit up here. This is good, though. You gals should carry this to protect yourself. It's always nice when you're all dressed up in an evening gown. You got to protect yourself. Okay, fucker, come on. Louder. Oh, sure, I'll just shout and just wipe the whole room. Scream! Be a lovely woman back there. That's nice. She's all drunk. What? Are you having a good time? Yeah! And now there's 8 of her. Good. Yeah? That's great. So, are you drunk yet? No. And do you all talk at once all the time? That'd be great in a fire. Fire! All at the same time. At least you'd know. That's good. So you're getting drunk? Are you in a good mood? You are? You've got your own hat tonight. Yeah, you said, fuck it, I'm not going to be a fool. Go, excuse yourself. You know what you can do? You can go into the bathroom and go, pardon me. That must be the door, I'll get it. That's nice. Yeah, blow this, because I think that's the only thing you'll be blowing tonight, so... Maybe she'll be blowing something. Yeah, not all of us, lovely woman. This is the only thing that makes noise, though, and No, you're a lovely gal. Are you drunk? You're not drinking water, are you? Drinking beer, and you're gonna... You just scream out a state. Feel free. Idaho! Fuck it. Did I have shoes on? Jesus, but you're having a good time. Are you going to be sick later? Because that's always... Yeah, right, I don't care if I'm alone. So you're lying on the street. Nice, hi. Did you enjoy the show? Yeah, I did. I got standing on my dress. But you're having a good time. Were you like this last year, too? Or just every day? It's the Gail Storm syndrome. No. Gail Storm, she's a drunk. She does commercials now. But make $10 million being an alcoholic. That's good, huh? That's great, though. It's great. It's great. There was a woman in the last show who burped during my act, so that was nice. Celebrating New Year, she got real drunk. She burped, and it was really charming. I thought it was nice. Then she turned to her boyfriend, and she went, "Oh, pardon me." Real sweet, like it was adorable or something. I said to her, "How cute. Maybe you'll puke in the car later." That'll be nice. So everybody's having fun and stuff, and you look great tonight. All dressed up, not like last night. No, you look good, though. You look great, real sophisticated and stuff. That's great. You look great. Can I see your glasses for a second? I won't ruin them. I promise. I'll be real careful with them. Oh, did I? Oh, look, I see them again. Or I'll smack your face so hard. Oh, that's right. I remember you. Yeah. These are beautiful. Look at these. So classy looking, and you'll be wanting these back real soon. These are great, though. These are strong. You don't have to call home to see if everything's okay. These are great. You can look towards your house. And you kids, put that down. These are great. You can start fires and shit. This is great. Burn little holes in your clothes. Oh, you take them off, there's a one eye right now. Glasses are great. They give you power, don't they? What do you do? Did I find out? What do you do? Where do you work at? Oh, you're a lab technician. Yeah, so you can see all kinds of bacteria and stuff real close. Don't go into work, just look at the building. That's it. These are great. You know, glasses do give you power, though. I had a boyfriend who wore glasses, and I'm telling you, it was so awful because we'd have fights and stuff, and he'd make me feel real bad and really awful. And I'd have a fight, and I'd turn to him, and I don't wear glasses, so I'd turn to him, and I'd go, "Look, I don't need you anymore. I'm getting out." Real dramatic and real stupid. You know how you get gals, you get like a 40s actress when you have a fight, and you're real mad and real mean, and your shoulders get big, and you walk out, "I'm leaving." And, but he wore glasses, and he'd always make me feel real bad by doing shit like this. Real powerful, real authority with glasses. He'd go like this. "Look. I don't need you anymore." Well, maybe I do. Wait a minute. Pull these out of my eye, will you? I like the ones with the lines right here, so when you go below the water, you can still see. I like them. So fun. But I think bank tellers have the most fun with glasses. I bank at a bank where everybody's in a bad mood all the time, real awful, you know? And they are real bitchy, really awful. And you go into the bank, and like my bank, the one clerk that I always go to, she wears glasses, and she's really awful, and she does stuff like this with her glasses and really uses her authority with her glasses. She goes like this. She looks at my passbook, and she goes, "Well, you don't have any fucking money." Next. A lovely woman. So awful. But my favorite thing is people who do this. My favorite thing is people who do this. You know, it's funny. I don't really need to wear glasses. So awful. These are fun, though. I'm over here, by the way. Because you're looking behind you. Fuck, I don't know. And you can wear them on your head and stuff. It's great. Did you almost fall just then? I'm a charmer. Boy. I can't even see that fuck out of my head here. Do you carry anything in your purse to protect yourself? Mace or anything? You don't? So what do you do? What do you do? That's a great way to defend yourself. I have a friend who tells me that she just puts on an attitude. You know, attitude works every time. If somebody's going to attack her, she just goes, "Don't, okay?" Person thinks this person's in a bad mood. I'm not going to piss them off anymore. Okay. Well, these are great. So I guess you want to put these back on now. No. Do you have a little napkin? I'll clean them for you. You don't? Just wear them dirty. Fuck it. Who cares? It's me. Great. The cheap stuff. Lovely woman. Well, it doesn't matter. You still get drunk. It's bubbly. It's effervescent. Feels good coming back up. That's good. Is this your husband? Boyfriend? Trick? What is it? Did you walk parallel on the sidewalk together? I mean, what is it? No commitment here at all. Is this just a friend, right? Yeah? Well, how long are you... What is that? Is that your pimp back there? Man, I'm in the line coming in. Did you really meet him in the line? That's great. Did you? No. You picked him up outside. Well, he's a working associate or something? She's making shit up now. She's just making big... Yeah, that's what I'll say. I met him outside. Yeah. It's wacky, but it just might work. Yeah. That's great. So that's real nice. I was wondering because I want to find somebody who's on a first date. Anybody on a first date here tonight?
We are.
No, everybody's gotten laid. Good, okay. Well, yeah, he's alone. Surprised? No, you're a lovely guy. No, you're a nice guy. You've got lots of friends, and that's important because you need them. The kind of guy who has a life membership at Gym Club. Okay, but those are hard to get, aren't they? It's so New Year's. It's so great though. It's so much fun, and we're all going to scream and go berserk and throw up on ourselves. But it's fun, and I love it. I go crazy. But I remember last year I was on a date with some fella. I wasn't working, and I was on a date and just poured that drink all over her lap. And that's so nice. What a gentleman. Na. And then takes the bottle and goes, fuck it. But I was on a date with this fellow, and it was really awful. I don't know about you gals out there, but I get real scared when I'm on a date with somebody I like a lot, and I can't be myself, I can't be a pig woman. And it's true, though. Now, don't you gals try to tell me that, you act different. When you like somebody, you act a lot different. Like, for example, I get terrified of things happening. Like, I'm always afraid I'm going to get food stuck in my teeth. All night long, I'm not going to know I got a big piece of lettuce or an olive right here. And you feel like such a moron, right? You're smiling all night going, smiling. And he's going, what is that thing right there? Do I have to wear one of those to be with you? What is that? I get so terrified of stuff like that. Jesus, it's awful. Or being a pig woman, or like eating food. You can never eat food the same way in front of a guy, for the first time. Like it's true. You go home, when you're by yourself, you can just be a pig, right? Nobody can see you. And, no matter how much of a lady you think you are, any of you gals and your fellas, don't let your girlfriends fool you, because when they go home, it's like they close the door and go, food. My food. That's true. Pig woman, I'm telling you. And it's true. And then, but when you go on a date with somebody, you can't do that. And I was out on a date one night with this fellow. We were sitting there. It was real nice and real romantic and stuff. And I was really afraid to be a pig woman and get, food on my face and go, hey, kiss me, come on. And it's such a pig. And so we're sitting there. It's real nice, real romantic and stuff. And I didn't eat very much because I was afraid I'd be a pig. And when you don't eat a lot, your stomach gets real empty. And it makes that real attractive sound, real feminine, We're sitting in the car a couple hours later. We're driving along. It's real nice and quiet. Little music playing, real romantic, real nice. And all of a sudden, my stomach went, I want some food now. It was so awful. And he said, what was that? I go, what was what? Nothing. Come on, food, Jack in the Box, 7-Eleven. Come on, pig woman, come on. Have you ever had that happen? It's so awful. And it's such a nightmare. But you know that feeling when you finally get home, gals, and you can finally be a pig woman? Oh, God. Such a great... You don't need to get laid. You just want to be near food, Just be near food. She's got food all over her top. And it's true, though. When you finally get home and you can finally be a pig and you go into your bedroom and you change into your eating clothes. Oh, God. No bread, just roast beef raw. My food. Awful. Then you go into the kitchen and unhinge your jaw and tip back the fridge. That's always nice. Such a pig. Oh, it's so awful being a pig woman. I don't know. Going out on dates is weird because of stuff like, I always get turned off by things like when a fellow, you go into a nice restaurant and you're sitting there, it's real nice, and the fellow will turn to you. You've had a nice evening, everything's gone just perfectly, little wine, dinner, everything's nice. And the guy will turn to you and say, hey, taste this, see if it's bad. Great, bring on all the rotted food. Little mold, let me try it. I don't know about you gals, but I guess when I was younger, I was pretty naive about stuff. A guy would say, and I know every woman in this audience has heard this. You've heard this a million times, and it makes you go berserk, but it's very funny, So I remember when I was younger, and the first time I was at this fellow's apartment, and he said to me, look, it made me go crazy. He said, look, you can stay with me. Excuse yourself. You can stay with me. You can sleep in my bed, and I won't touch you. I'll fuck you, but I won't touch you. Yeah. What I love is when and they make you sort of say, well, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't stay. You go, no, look, I'll even leave my underwear on. Ooh, and nothing can get through that. I feel real safe now. I'll do a striptease act, and I know your underwear's on, so there's no problem. Better than a door, yes, sir. Going on dates with someone.
Wow, Lois always has a way with words and the audience. A very funny comedian. I know you enjoyed that. Well, hey, we got a special treat, all part of this New Year's show from back in the early 80s. Here comes one of my favorites, a really good friend. In fact, he did an earlier podcast interview with me. Yakov Smirnoff, famous Russian comic. He came over from Russia in 1977, but a lot of people don't know. He was actually a comic in the Ukraine, which is where he's from in Russia. He was performing on the Black Sea on cruise ships and some television, and in 1977 came over to America. He learned how to speak English by watching television and listening to TV commercials. He became a very popular comic, did a lot of work with the White House, and did several movies, Moscow and the Hudson with Robin Williams, The Money Pit with Tom Hanks, and Brewster's Millions with Richard Pryor. And he's still a terrific comic. He has his own theater in Branson, Missouri, and performs on a regular basis. Went on to get his PhD, and is just a fascinating guy. If you get a chance, go back and listen to his interview. Oh, and I forgot, he was also a regular on Night Court, which a good friend of mine, comic magician Harry Anderson, was the star of. So lots of history here. Let's go back and hear some of his humor from the New Year's show of 1983. Ladies and gentlemen, Yakov Smirnoff.
Coming up, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest we told you about. He's here just for this evening, and then he's going to be staying through as a headliner last week, but we brought him up early as a special treat for this show. He is a normal headliner here at Laughs Unlimited. He's from Russia originally. He's been done. He just had an article on him in People magazine, Playboy magazine, and Penthouse. He is coming out in a movie this April starring Robin Williams, and he's the co-star. It's called Moscow on the Hudson. It's coming out this April, starring Robin Williams, co-starring Yakov Smirnoff. Keep an eye out for that. Very talented young man. Let's give him a nice round of applause from Russia, Yakov Smirnoff. Let's hear it. Yeah, come on.
Hi. Hi. My name is Yakov Smirnoff. I am a comedian from Russia. Say what? And I want to explain you what happened to that airplane. Yeah. Well, they actually know that there was a conversation between Moscow and the pilot said, we can't shoot down this plane, it's a passenger plane. And they said, how about for a Michelob Light? And that's what happens. I am actually from Russia. I was born there, grew up there, worked as a comedian out there. Got out of Russia 6 years ago, very unusual way, alive. What surprises me that Americans don't know that we have comedy in Russia. We have comedians, they're there. They're dead. They're there. It's hard to do comedy in Russia because you gotta write out all your material and you send it to Department of Jokes. I'm not making this up. They send it back to you censored, and you have to stay with the script. You can't improvise. If somebody heckles you from the audience, you can't say, like, your mother wears army boots. Because she probably does. And she'll hurt you, you know? Yeah. It's great that the comedy out here. You can go on the stage and actually say anything you want to. You can go even to President Reagan and say, I don't like Reagan. We can do the same thing in Russia. We can go to Andropov and say, I don't like Reagan. Almost the same thing. I got into comedy in Russia. I entered the contest on the best political joke. First prize was 20 years. Should have been a good joke. And the guy who won the contest, he was telling Polish jokes. Polish people bought 200 septic tanks, and they will attack Russia when they learn how to drive them. Or how many Russians does it take to screw Poland? And there was no punchline. They gave him 20 years to think of one. So he's still working on it. They didn't like the joke I told them. I don't know why. Would you like to hear that joke? Okay. В России есть такое правило. You heard this joke? Okay. I'll tell it in English. There is a rule in Russia. If they ask you who is your father, you're supposed to answer, my father is Soviet Union. Who is your mother? My mother is Communist Party. Whom you want to be? I want to be a builder, for example. They asked me, who is your father? I said, my father is Soviet Union. Who is your mother? My mother is Communist Party. Whom you want to be? I want to be an orphan. And after that, I was supposed to go to winter camp. It's like summer camp, but in Siberia. Siberia is a very interesting place. Siberia has the world's fastest dogs, because in Siberia, trees are 200 miles apart. It's like to pee or not to pee. It's a wasteland. There is no civilization, no communication. You cut off from humanity. It's like Bakersfield. Not as bad as Bakersfield. That's when I realized I want to get out of Russia, but it's not easy to get out of Russia because you apply for a visa, but they give you MasterCard. What are you going to do with a MasterCard? So after 2 years of waiting, I got an answer, get out. And I'm flying American airline, and it's the first time in my life I was introduced to American people. I didn't know how Americans look because we used to watch movies from America like Three Stooges. And they would tell us that's how Americans look, you know. And that's how they explain why we need so many weapons. Because if somebody hits you with a shovel in the face, you gotta have a missile or something. So here I am on the airplane. Now airplanes are so different. You know, in Russia, we didn't have like frills. We would buy first class tickets to have some advantages, like you can sit down. You know, restrooms outside. And it's a bitch when you're facing the wrong way. So here I am on the plane, they gave me headphones, I'm watching a movie, something was funny in the movie, I start laughing. Now my laughter is a little bit different than American people laugh, like because we're not allowed to laugh out, so we laugh in. And it sounds obnoxious, like So I start laughing and the oxygen mask fell out. Then stewardess announced, please bring your seats all the way forward. I had no tools, and they're screwed to the floor. Then I walked into a restroom, and there is a sign next to the toilet that says, no foreign objects allowed. And it's 12 hours flight. Wasn't funny then. My first stop in America was in Cleveland, Ohio. Anybody from Cleveland by chance? Are you? They made me feel at home in Cleveland, so I had to escape again. I make fun of Cleveland only because everybody makes fun of Cleveland. Every country has a city people make fun of. In Russia, we used to make fun of Cleveland. Then I got to New York. New York was fun. I walked out of the airplane. I saw my name written, big letters, Smirnoff. And I said to myself, what a country. I didn't speak English. I couldn't find a job, so I was selling drugs for $3 an hour. They told me it's a union scale. I didn't know about drugs. They don't have drugs in Russia. They're all in Afghanistan. That's why they invaded the country. And troops been told to get out of there about a year ago, but they too stoned to find the border. They're smoking the cigarettes called Gudstavsky. Moscowy Wowie. The only drugs they do have are downers. We call them bullets. Delmel, oh wow. bitching. Everybody was telling me, try drugs, try drugs. So I tried X-Lax. And I wasn't getting high, I was sitting real low. Then someone gave me that white powder, cocaine, and they said, if you want to make it last longer, chop it up as a razor. So I used my Norelco. That was a mistake. Now every time I shave, it costs me $200. Then I tried acid, burned my lips. I realized I can't sell drugs for a long time. I have to learn new language to get a decent job. So I locked myself into a room and I was watching television for 3 months, and then I realized it was a Spanish station. The only job I could get was body and fender work. I'll tell you, English is not an easy language. I've been in America 6.5 years, and I still make mistakes. I was performing a couple of weeks ago at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. The girl came over to me after the show, and she said, I enjoyed your show, I had a gas. Now, I appreciate the honesty, but I don't want to know. Then she invited me to her place, and she said, would you like some cheesecake? I said, I don't really like cheesecake. Do you have anything like Jell-O or something? She said, oh yeah, I have plenty of Jell-O. I have Jell-O coming out of my ears. I said, I'll have cheesecake. Why bother with Jell-O? English is a very interesting language. I was reading newspaper. The ad in the paper said, big sale last week. Now, why advertise? I already missed it. They're just rubbing it in. I was working one club in Texas, and the club owner came over to me after the show, and he said, you're doing a good job, but you're getting a little hoarse. I said, I thought I'm getting cash. That was the deal. But I like that little pony. It's nice. He had a big farm near Dallas, and he took me to his farm. Now, I'm from Odessa, Russia, and it's a big city. I never was familiar with animals, and he was very nice. He took me around, showed me everything, and explained me about every animal. He even let me milk his bull. And I learned something. You milk this animal once, you have a friend for life. He was following me around. Very nice animal. Yeah. I was in England about a month ago. I was doing a television show there, and it was interesting because English is very hard for me to understand because they use certain expressions that Americans don't use. Like, for example, they call restroom, they call toilet. And I walked on a British Airways on a plane. I walked into the restroom, and there's a sign on the door that says no smoking in the toilet. Now, why would I do that anyway? The lead would hit me on the head. It's stupid, you know. Then I'm checking the hotel in London, and they call erasers, they call rubbers. And the clerk wanted to erase something, and he said to his partner, can I borrow your rubber for a second? Now, I said, what kind of hotel is this? You gotta borrow a rubber for a second? And I hardly know you. Please take me to dinner or something. You know. The word yep was very confusing. Yep in English means yes, in Russian it means sex. I'm not making this up. I'm arriving to America. I'm just hearing yep, 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 yep. I said to myself, what a country.
That was some terrific comedy by famous Russian comic Yakov Smirnoff, as recorded back in 1983 for our New Year's show. I sure hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. He is a terrific guy. In fact, he's still using his PhD in psychology to work with couples, do consultations, and he still performs as a stand-up comic. As I mentioned, he has his own theater in Branson, Missouri, but performs all over the world. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was Lois Bromfield, Yakov Smirnoff, both from our 1983 New Year's show. I know you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to share and rate, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Stand-Up Comedy, your host and MC. For information on the show, merchandise, and our sponsors, or to send comments to Scott, visit our website at www.standupyourhostandmc.com. Look for more episodes soon and enjoy the world of stand-up comedy. Visit a comedy showroom near you.